Marcus hadn't heard his triplets laugh since their mother died. The new maid was supposed to just clean. One day, he came home early and stopped at the playroom door. Inside, the maid was dancing with all three children. But they were laughing. Laughing! She was signing to them, telling them jokes in their language. Tears fell down his face. He watched silently as this woman did what no therapist, no nanny, had been able to do. When she finally noticed him, she looked scared. "Please don't fire me, sir. I was supposed to be cleaning, but they looked so sad and I just—" "Fire you?" he interrupted. "I want to marry you. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Mr. Wilson, the maid quit." Marcus Wilson looked up from his computer screen. His assistant Patricia stood in the doorway of his office. She held a coffee cup in one hand and a folder in the other. "Why?" Marcus asked. "She said the house feels too sad," Patricia said. "She said she cannot work there anymore." Marcus nodded slowly. He looked back at his computer. "Hire someone else." "I already did," Patricia said. "Her name is Keisha Thompson. She starts on Wednesday." "Fine," Marcus said. He did not look up again. Patricia left and closed the door. Marcus sat alone in his office on the 40th floor of a building in Century City, Los Angeles. Outside his window, the city stretched in all directions. Cars moved on the streets below. People walked on sidewalks. The world kept moving. But Marcus felt frozen. That morning, Marcus had woken up at 6 o'clock in his empty bedroom. The bed was too big for one person. He used to sleep on the right side. Rebecca slept on the left side. Now he slept in the middle. But it still felt wrong. He got out of bed and put on his gray suit. He walked down the hallway of his mansion in Beverly Hills, California. The house had 20 rooms. Most of them were empty. He passed 3 bedrooms. The doors were open. In the first bedroom, his son Daniel sat on his bed. He was 8 years old. He had dark curly hair and brown eyes. He stared at the wall. He did not move. In the second bedroom, his son Joshua sat on the floor. He was also 8 years old. He looked like Daniel because they were triplets. Joshua stared at his hands. He did not move either. In the third bedroom, his son Samuel lay in his bed. He was the youngest triplet by 2 minutes. He stared at the ceiling. His eyes looked scared. Marcus stopped at each door. He wanted to go inside. He wanted to talk to his sons. But he did not know what to say. He did not know how to say it. His sons were deaf. They communicated with sign language. Marcus did not know sign language. He walked downstairs to the kitchen. The kitchen had marble counters and expensive appliances. Everything was clean and perfect. Everything felt cold. Marcus made coffee. He sat at one end of the long dining table. A few minutes later, Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel came downstairs. They sat at the other end of the table. A woman named Mrs. Chen worked in the house. She made breakfast for the boys. Eggs and toast. The boys ate slowly. They did not look at each other. They did not look at Marcus. Marcus tried to smile at them. They did not smile back. They did not see him. They were looking down at their plates. Marcus finished his coffee. He stood up and walked to the garage. He got into his black Mercedes and drove away from the mansion. The gate opened automatically. He drove down the wide streets of Beverly Hills. He drove past other big houses with perfect lawns. He drove to his office in Century City. Marcus owned a technology company called Wilson Tech Solutions. The company made software for hospitals. The company was very successful. Marcus was very rich. But money did not fix anything. He sat at his desk and opened his laptop. He had 53 new emails. He tried to read them. The words blurred together. He could not focus. He kept thinking about his sons. 3 boys sitting at a table, not talking. 3 boys in their rooms, staring at walls. 3 boys who looked empty inside. It had been 2 years. 2 years since everything fell apart. Marcus closed his eyes and remembered. He remembered Rebecca 2 years ago. She was in the playroom with the boys. She was signing with her hands. Her hands moved fast and graceful. The boys watched her and laughed. Rebecca was telling them a story. A funny story about a cat. Joshua fell on the floor laughing. Daniel smiled so big his dimples showed. Samuel clapped his hands. Rebecca looked so alive. She wore a yellow dress. Her brown hair was pulled back. Her blue eyes were bright. Marcus had stood in the doorway watching them. Rebecca saw him and waved. She signed something to the boys. They looked at Marcus and waved too. Marcus waved back, but he did not understand what Rebecca signed. He never learned. "I will learn next month," Marcus told Rebecca that night. "You always say next month," Rebecca said. She was not angry. She was just tired. "Marcus, you need to talk to your sons." "I do talk to them," Marcus said. "You talk at them," Rebecca said. "You do not talk with them. There is a difference." Marcus promised he would start lessons soon, but he did not start. He was too busy, always too busy. He thought he had time. He thought Rebecca would always be there to help him. Then came the phone call. It was a Thursday night. Marcus was working late at the office. His phone rang at midnight. It was a police officer. "Mr. Wilson, there has been an accident on Highway 101. Your wife Rebecca Wilson was driving. A drunk driver hit her car. I am very sorry. She died at the scene." The phone fell from Marcus's hand. The room spun. His chest felt tight. He could not breathe. Rebecca was driving home from a charity event. She was raising money for deaf children. She was always helping people, always giving. Now she was gone. Marcus drove to the hospital. He saw Rebecca's body. She looked like she was sleeping, but she was not sleeping. She was dead. She would never wake up. She would never sign to their sons again. She would never smile again. She would never tell Marcus to learn sign language. The funeral was terrible. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel stood next to the coffin. They did not cry. They looked confused. They did not fully understand that their mother was never coming back. After the funeral, the boys stopped smiling. They stopped playing. They stopped eating their favorite foods. They sat in their rooms and stared at nothing. Marcus tried to help them. He hired therapists, 5 different therapists. None of them knew sign language well enough. He hired nannies, 10 different nannies. The boys ignored them all. He bought them a puppy, a small golden dog. The boys did not even pet it. Nothing worked. The house became silent. Not the peaceful kind of silence, the terrible kind. The kind that feels like drowning. Marcus opened his eyes. He was back in his office. It was Monday afternoon. The sun was shining outside, but Marcus felt dark inside. He tried to work, but he could not. At 8 o'clock at night, he drove home. The mansion was dark. Mrs. Chen had gone home. The boys were in their rooms. Marcus walked upstairs. He checked on Daniel first. Daniel was sitting on the floor. Toys were scattered around him, but he was not playing with them. He just sat there. Marcus knocked on the door frame. Daniel did not turn around. Marcus waved his hand. Daniel still did not turn around. Marcus's throat felt tight. His own son did not notice him. He went to Joshua's room. Joshua used to love drawing. His pictures used to cover the walls. Bright colors everywhere. But after Rebecca died, Joshua put all his art supplies in the closet. He never took them out again. Now he sat on his bed, staring at his hands. Marcus went to Samuel's room last. Samuel was lying in bed. His eyes were open. He looked scared. He always looked scared now. Marcus wanted to tell him everything would be okay, but he did not know how to say it. He did not know the signs. Marcus went to his home office. He sat at his desk. He looked at a photograph of Rebecca. She was smiling in the photo. She looked so happy, so full of life. Marcus opened his laptop. He typed into the search bar, Sign Language Classes Los Angeles. Many results appeared, classes at community colleges, private tutors, online courses. Marcus clicked on one. He read about the schedule, Tuesday and Thursday evenings. He moved his mouse to the registration button. Then he stopped. He closed the laptop. He told himself he was too busy. He told himself he would do it next week. But the truth was different. The truth was he was afraid. Afraid it was too late. Afraid his sons would not forgive him. Afraid he already lost them. His phone rang. It was Patricia. "Mr. Wilson, I wanted to remind you. The new maid, Keisha Thompson, starts on Wednesday morning. She will be there at 8 o'clock. "Okay," Marcus said. "Do you need anything else?" Patricia asked. "No," Marcus said. "Thank you." He hung up the phone. He sat in his office alone. The house was quiet. His sons were in their rooms, silent and sad. Marcus put his head in his hands. He did not know that Wednesday would change everything. He did not know that a woman named Keisha Thompson would walk into his house and bring his sons back to life. He did not know that everything was about to get better. But on that Monday night, Marcus only knew one thing. He was failing his sons, and he did not know how to stop. 2 days passed. Wednesday morning came. Keisha Thompson woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Her alarm clock buzzed on the small table next to her bed. She opened her eyes and looked around her apartment in Inglewood. The apartment had 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. The kitchen was tiny. The walls were thin. She could hear her neighbors talking through the wall. Keisha sat up and looked at a photograph on her dresser. The photograph showed her with 20 children. They were all smiling. Some were signing with their hands. Some were making funny faces. Keisha was in the middle, with her arms around 2 girls. The photo was taken 2 years ago at Washington Elementary School in Atlanta, Georgia. Keisha touched the glass frame gently. She missed those children. She missed teaching. She missed feeling like her life had purpose. She got out of bed and took a shower. She put on jeans and a purple shirt. She looked at herself in the mirror. She was 35 years old. She had dark brown skin and black hair in braids. She looked tired. She had not been sleeping well since she moved to Los Angeles 3 months ago. Keisha made coffee in her small kitchen. She drank it quickly. Then she grabbed her keys and walked outside to her car. Her car was an old Honda Civic. The paint was fading. The air conditioning did not work. But the car ran. That was enough. She drove from Inglewood to Beverly Hills. The drive took 45 minutes. Traffic was heavy. Cars everywhere. Keisha turned on the radio. A song was playing, but she did not listen. She was thinking about the new job. She was going to clean a house, a mansion. She had never cleaned houses before. She was a teacher. She had a college degree. She taught children for 12 years. But none of that mattered now. She needed money to pay rent. She needed food. She needed to survive. When Keisha arrived in Beverly Hills, everything looked different. The streets were wide and clean. The houses were huge. Trees lined every street. Everything looked expensive. Everything looked perfect. Keisha followed the GPS directions on her phone. She turned onto a street called Maple Drive. She drove slowly, looking at the house numbers. Then she saw it. Number 4729. The mansion. Keisha stopped her car and stared. The house was the biggest house she had ever seen. It was white, with tall columns in the front. There was a gate with a security guard standing next to a small booth. Keisha drove up to the gate. The security guard walked over. He was an older man with gray hair. He wore a uniform. "Name?" the guard asked. "Keisha Thompson," Keisha said. Her voice was quiet. The guard looked at a list on his clipboard. He nodded. "Okay, go ahead." The gate opened slowly. Keisha drove through. Her hands were shaking on the steering wheel. She parked her old Honda Civic next to 3 expensive cars: a black Mercedes, a white BMW, a silver Audi. Her car looked very small next to them. Keisha got out and walked to the front door. Before she could knock, the door opened. A woman stood there. She was about 50 years old. She wore a business suit. Her hair was pulled back tight. "You must be Keisha," the woman said. "I am Patricia. I work for Mr. Wilson. I am his assistant." "Hello," Keisha said. "Nice to meet you." "Come inside," Patricia said. "I will show you around." Keisha walked into the house. Her eyes went wide. The entrance hall was huge. The floor was marble. A giant chandelier hung from the ceiling. A staircase curved up to the second floor. Everything sparkled. Everything looked like it cost more money than Keisha made in a year. "The house has 20 rooms," Patricia said. She walked quickly. Keisha followed her. "You will clean the main areas every day: the entrance hall, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the playroom, 5 bathrooms downstairs. There are also bedrooms upstairs, but Mrs. Chen handles those." "Who is Mrs. Chen?" Keisha asked. "She works here too," Patricia said. "She cooks and does laundry. You will clean." They walked through the living room. It had white couches and glass tables. Expensive art hung on the walls. But Keisha noticed something. There were no family photos anywhere, no pictures of people, just expensive art that meant nothing. "Where is Mr. Wilson?" Keisha asked. "He is at his office downtown," Patricia said. "He leaves early and comes home late. You probably will not see him much." "What about his family?" Keisha asked. Patricia stopped walking. Her face looked sad for a moment. "Mr. Wilson has 3 sons. They are 8 years old, triplets. Their names are Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel." "Triplets," Keisha said. "That must be nice. 3 boys." Patricia did not smile. "The boys are very quiet. They stay in their rooms most of the day. Do not bother them. Just let them be." "Why are they so quiet?" Keisha asked. Patricia looked uncomfortable. "Their mother died 2 years ago. Car accident. The boys have been different since then. Very sad. Very withdrawn." Keisha's heart hurt. 3 boys without a mother. She knew what loss felt like. She lost her parents when she was 7 years old. She remembered that pain. "Are the boys here now?" Keisha asked. "Yes," Patricia said. "But remember, do not bother them. Mr. Wilson has tried many therapists and nannies. Nothing helps. Just leave them alone and do your work." Patricia showed Keisha where the cleaning supplies were. A closet near the kitchen. Mops and brooms and buckets. Soap and polish and rags. Everything was organized perfectly. "You start at 8 o'clock and finish at 4 o'clock, Patricia said. "Monday through Friday. You get paid every 2 weeks. Do you have any questions?" "No," Keisha said. "Thank you." "Good," Patricia said. She looked at her watch. "I have to go. I have a meeting downtown. You will be fine. Just clean." Patricia left through the front door. Keisha heard her car start and drive away. Now Keisha was alone in the huge mansion. She stood in the kitchen and looked around. The house was beautiful, but it felt sad, like something was missing. Keisha started cleaning. She mopped the marble floor in the entrance hall. She dusted the furniture in the living room. She wiped down the glass tables. She worked for 3 hours. Her back started to hurt. Her hands were dry from the cleaning products. Around noon, Keisha walked down a hallway. She saw a room with the door open. She looked inside. It was the playroom. The playroom was big. It had toys everywhere, shelves full of books, a train set in one corner, an art table with crayons and paper. But 3 boys sat on the floor in the middle of the room. They were not playing with anything. They just sat there. Keisha stopped breathing. She stared at the 3 boys. They all had dark curly hair. They all had brown eyes. They all looked exactly the same because they were triplets. They wore simple clothes, t-shirts and sweatpants. One boy wore a blue shirt. One wore a gray shirt. One wore a black shirt. But what made Keisha's heart break was the look on their faces. Empty. Lost. Alone. She had seen that look before, in her classroom in Atlanta, in children who felt disconnected from the world, in children who had no one to talk to. Keisha wanted to go inside. She wanted to ask if they were okay, but she remembered Patricia's words, "Do not bother them." She forced herself to walk away. She went back to the kitchen. She cleaned the counters. She organized the pantry. But she could not stop thinking about those 3 boys. At 3 o'clock, Keisha finished most of her work. She walked past the playroom again. She stopped. She looked inside. The 3 boys were still there, still sitting, still staring at nothing. Keisha's hands started to shake. She knew that look. She taught deaf children for 12 years. Some of her students looked like this when they first came to her classroom, when they felt like no one understood them, when they felt invisible. Were these boys deaf? Is that why they were so quiet? Is that why they looked so lost? Keisha made a decision. She did not care what Patricia said. She could not walk past these children and do nothing. She was a teacher. It was who she was. It was in her blood. She took a deep breath. She walked into the playroom. The boys did not look up. She walked closer. Her heart pounded in her chest. Keisha knelt down in front of them. She was close enough to touch them, but she did not. She waited. She wanted them to notice her first. Slowly, the boy in the blue shirt looked up. His brown eyes met hers. He looked surprised to see her. Keisha lifted her hands. She took another deep breath. Then she signed. "Hello?" The boy in the blue shirt stared at Keisha's hands. His mouth opened slightly. His eyes went wide. The other 2 boys looked up too. All 3 of them stared at her. Nobody moved. Nobody made a sound. The room was completely silent. Then the boy in the blue shirt lifted his hands. He signed back. His movements were slow and careful. "Who are you?" Keisha's heart jumped. They were deaf. She was right. And they knew sign language. She signed back. "My name is Keisha. I am a friend." The boy in the blue shirt looked at his brothers. Then he looked back at Keisha. He signed again. "You know our language?" "Yes," Keisha signed. "I know your language. What is your name?" The boy hesitated. Then he signed. "Daniel." Keisha smiled. She looked at the boy in the gray shirt. "What is your name?" The boy in the gray shirt looked scared, but he signed Joshua. Keisha looked at the boy in the black shirt. "And your name?" The boy in the black shirt did not sign. He just stared at her. His eyes looked afraid. Daniel signed, "His name is Samuel. He does not talk much." "That is okay," Keisha signed. She sat down on the floor with them. "How old are you?" 8, Daniel signed. Keisha nodded. "I am 35 years old. I am very old." Daniel's face did not change. Joshua watched her hands carefully. Samuel kept staring. Keisha thought for a moment. Then she signed, "Do you want to hear a joke?" Daniel did not answer, but he did not look away either. Keisha started signing. Her hands moved with energy and expression. There was a monkey. The monkey was very hungry. He looked everywhere for a banana. He looked in trees. He looked under rocks. He looked in his friend's house. But he could not find a banana. Do you know why? Daniel shook his head. Keisha signed, because the banana was on his head the whole time. He forgot he put it there. Daniel's mouth moved. Just a little bit. It was not a full smile, but it was something. The corner of his mouth turned up for half a second. Keisha's chest felt warm. That tiny movement meant everything. Joshua signed something. His hands moved slowly. You are not a doctor. No, Keisha signed. I am not a doctor. You are not a therapist, Joshua signed. No, Keisha signed. Then who are you? Joshua signed. Keisha thought about how to answer. She signed, I am someone who speaks your language. I am someone who sees you. The three boys looked at each other. They did not sign anything, but something passed between them. Some kind of understanding. Keisha stayed with them for 30 more minutes. She asked them questions. She asked what games they liked. She asked what food they liked. She asked about their favorite colors. Daniel answered most of the questions. He signed that he used to like playing with his brothers. He signed that his favorite food was pizza. He signed that he did not have a favorite color anymore. Joshua signed a little bit. He signed that he used to like drawing. He signed that he stopped drawing. He would not say why. Samuel did not sign at all, but he watched Keisha's hands the whole time. He did not look away once. At 3:30, Keisha looked at the clock on the wall. She needed to finish her cleaning. She needed to leave by 4 o'clock. She signed, I have to go now, but I will come back tomorrow. Is that okay? Daniel looked at her for a long time. Then he signed, Promise? Promise, Keisha signed. She stood up. The three boys watched her leave. When she reached the door, she turned around. She signed, Goodbye. Then she left. Keisha finished cleaning the kitchen quickly. At 4 o'clock, she walked to her car. She sat in the driver's seat and did not start the engine. She put her head on the steering wheel. Those three boys had no one to talk to. They were deaf and they were alone. Their mother was dead. Their father did not know sign language. They were trapped in silence. Keisha knew what she had to do. She would come back tomorrow. She would talk to them. She would help them. She did not care if it was not her job. She was a teacher. This is what teachers do. That night, Daniel lay in his bed. He could not sleep. He kept thinking about the woman with the kind eyes, the woman who knew sign language, the woman who saw him. Nobody had signed to him in 2 years, not since his mother died. He forgot what it felt like to have someone speak his language. Joshua lay in his bed thinking about the woman's hands. They moved like his mother's hands used to move. Fast and graceful, full of expression. He missed that so much it hurt. Samuel lay in his bed, feeling confused. The woman seemed nice, but nice people left. His mother was nice, and she left. The therapists were nice, and they left. The nannies were nice, and they left. Everyone left. The next morning, Marcus left for work at 7 o'clock. He did not see Keisha arrive at 8 o'clock. He did not know she cleaned the house quickly. He did not know she went to the playroom. The three boys were there, waiting. When Keisha walked into the room, Samuel lifted his hands. He signed one word. Hello? Keisha's eyes filled with tears. She signed back, Hello, Samuel. Samuel did not smile, but he did not look away either. Keisha spent an hour with them that day. She taught them a simple game. It was a game where they had to guess what object she was thinking about. They had to ask yes or no questions. Daniel guessed first. He guessed a car. He was wrong. Joshua guessed a tree. He was wrong. Samuel did not guess. but he watched the whole game. Then Keisha started telling them a story. Her hands moved fast. Her face was expressive. Her whole body was involved in the story. She told them about a superhero. The superhero's name was Captain Dance. Captain Dance fought bad guys by dancing. When bad guys tried to steal things, Captain Dance would dance so well that the bad guys stopped and watched. Then, the police would come and arrest them. Daniel watched the story with interest. Samuel watched without moving. But Joshua started to smile. Then the smile turned into a laugh. A real laugh. His mouth opened and his shoulders shook. He laughed at Captain Dance doing a silly dance move. Keisha stopped signing. She stared at Joshua. He was laughing. Actually laughing. Joshua stopped laughing. He looked embarrassed. He put his hands over his face. Keisha signed, "Do not hide. Your laugh is beautiful." Joshua looked at her through his fingers. Keisha smiled at him. Daniel signed, "He has not laughed in a long time." "How long?" Keisha signed. 2 years, Daniel signed, "since our mother died." Keisha's throat felt tight. 2 years without laughing. 2 years of silence and sadness. These boys were drowning and no one knew how to save them. "Your mother would want you to laugh," Keisha signed. "I am sure of it." Daniel looked at the floor. Joshua put his hands down. Samuel's eyes got wet, but no tears fell. Keisha came back the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Every day that week, she cleaned the house quickly. Then she spent time with the boys. She told them stories. She played games with them. She signed with them. By Friday, all 3 boys were signing more. Daniel asked her questions about her life. Joshua showed her an old drawing he found in his closet. Samuel sat closer to her than before. The boys started to change. Daniel stood up straighter. Joshua looked at colors without pain in his eyes. Samuel's hands did not shake as much. At night, the boys ate dinner better. They finished their food. They slept through the night without waking up. Marcus noticed something was different. On Friday night, he came home at 8:30. The boys were eating dinner. Mrs. Chen had made chicken and rice. Usually the boys picked at their food. They ate a few bites and stopped. But tonight, Daniel finished his whole plate. Joshua ate most of his food. Samuel ate more than usual. Marcus sat at the table. He watched his sons. Something was different. They looked less sad. Their eyes looked less empty. At one point, Marcus saw Daniel look at Joshua. Joshua looked back. They did not sign anything, but they both had small smiles on their faces, like they shared a secret. Marcus wanted to ask what changed. He wanted to know why they seemed better. But he was afraid. He was afraid if he asked questions, the change would disappear. He was afraid to hope. After dinner, Marcus went to his office. He sat at his desk. He looked at Rebecca's photo. He whispered to the photo even though she could not hear him. "Something is different. I do not know what. But they seem better. I hope it lasts." Marcus did not know about Keisha spending time with his sons. He did not know she spoke their language. He did not know she was bringing them back to life, one sign at a time. 2 more weeks passed. The mansion in Beverly Hills felt different now. Not to Marcus. He still left early and came home late. But to the 3 boys, everything was changing. Keisha arrived every morning at 8 o'clock. She cleaned quickly. By 10 o'clock, she was done with most of her work. Then she went to the playroom. The boys were always there waiting for her. They sat by the door. When Keisha walked in, all 3 of them signed hello, even Samuel, every single day. On Monday of the 2nd week, Daniel did something new. He stood up when Keisha entered. He signed, "I have an idea for a game." Keisha signed, "Tell me." Daniel explained the game with his hands moving fast. It was a game where they pretended to be explorers. They had to find treasure hidden in the playroom. One person hid a toy. The others had to find it. "That sounds fun," Keisha signed. "Let us play?" Daniel hid a small red ball behind a bookshelf. Joshua and Samuel looked for it. Joshua found it after 5 minutes. He held it up and smiled, a real smile with his dimples showing. Then it was Joshua's turn to hide something. He hid a green toy car under a pillow. Daniel found it quickly. Then Samuel's turn came. He hesitated. He looked nervous. "You can do it," Keisha signed to Samuel. "We will close our eyes." Samuel took a yellow block. He hid it inside a toy box. When Daniel and Joshua opened their eyes, they looked everywhere. They could not find it. Samuel's face showed something new. Pride. He was proud that his hiding spot was good. Finally, Daniel found the block. He signed to Samuel, "Good job, that was hard to find." Samuel's mouth moved. It was not a smile yet, but it was close. Every day, Keisha saw more changes. Daniel was becoming a leader again. He organized the games, he made decisions, he protected his brothers. This was who he was before his mother died. He was finding himself again. Joshua asked Keisha about colors one afternoon. His hands moved slowly as he signed, "Do colors make you think of sad things?" "Sometimes," Keisha signed. "Why do you ask?" "My mother loved colors," Joshua signed. "She wore bright dresses, yellow and red and purple. After she died, I could not look at colors. They hurt too much." "What about now?" Keisha signed. Joshua looked at Keisha's purple shirt. He looked at it for a long time. Then he signed, "It still hurts, but less." "Your mother loved colors because they made her happy," Keisha signed. "Do you think she would want colors to make you sad forever?" Joshua's eyes filled with tears. He shook his head no. "Maybe colors can be a way to remember her with happiness instead of pain," Keisha signed. Joshua thought about this. He did not sign anything back. But the next day, he brought something to the playroom. A box of crayons and a piece of paper. He sat at the art table. His hands shook. He picked up a yellow crayon. He drew a circle. A simple yellow circle. The sun. Keisha watched from across the room. She did not say anything. She did not want to scare him. Joshua stared at his drawing. Then he put the crayon down and walked away. But he left the drawing on the table. He did not throw it away. He did not hide it. This was progress. Samuel was still the most scared. One afternoon, a loud truck drove past the house. The sound was very loud. Samuel's eyes went wide. His breathing got fast. His hands started shaking. He could not hear the truck, but he felt the vibration. It reminded him of cars. Cars scared him now. Cars killed his mother. Keisha saw Samuel's panic. She went to him quickly. She knelt in front of him. She took his hands in hers. She signed, "Look at me. Breathe with me." Keisha breathed in slowly. She counted on her fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then she breathed out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Samuel tried to copy her. His breathing was too fast at first, but Keisha kept breathing slowly. She kept counting. After 2 minutes, Samuel's breathing slowed down. After 5 minutes, his hands stopped shaking. "You are safe," Keisha signed. "I am here. Your brothers are here. You are safe." Samuel nodded. His eyes were still scared, but he was calmer. "When you feel scared, you breathe," Keisha signed. "Count to 5 breathing in, count to 5 breathing out. Your body will calm down. Can you practice with me?" Samuel practiced breathing with Keisha for 10 minutes. By the end, he looked tired, but less afraid. Marcus continued to notice changes in his sons. On Tuesday evening, he came home at 8 o'clock. Mrs. Chen had made spaghetti for dinner. The boys were already eating. Marcus sat down at the table. He watched Daniel eat. Daniel sat up straight. His shoulders were back. He looked more confident. Marcus remembered Daniel looked like this before Rebecca died. Strong and sure. He watched Joshua. Joshua was drawing on a napkin with a pen. He was drawing something. Marcus could not see what, but Joshua was creating something. He had not done that in 2 years. He watched Samuel. Samuel was eating his food without looking around nervously. He looked calm. Marcus wanted to ask them what changed, but he still did not know how. He still did not speak their language. On Wednesday afternoon, Patricia came to the mansion. She needed Marcus to sign some papers. She drove to Beverly Hills at 2 o'clock. She had a key to the front door. She let herself in. "Hello?" Patricia called out. "Mrs. Chen? Keisha?" Nobody answered. Patricia walked through the house, and she carried a folder with papers inside. She heard something. Laughter. It was coming from the playroom. Patricia walked down the hallway. The playroom door was open. She looked inside. Then she stopped walking. Her mouth fell open. Keisha was in the middle of the room. She was moving her hands. She was signing. The 3 boys were watching her. All 3 boys were smiling. Daniel was laughing. Joshua was clapping. Samuel was sitting close to Keisha. Patricia stood there staring. She did not understand sign language. She did not know what Keisha was saying. But she knew one thing. Keisha was not cleaning. Keisha was playing with the boys. Patricia cleared her throat loudly. Everyone turned to look at her. Keisha's face went white. All the color drained from her cheeks. She stood up quickly. The boys' smiles disappeared. They looked scared. "Keisha, can I talk to you?" Patricia said. Her voice was cold. "In the kitchen. Now." Keisha walked to the kitchen. Her legs felt weak. Her hands were shaking. Patricia followed her. Patricia closed the kitchen door. "What were you doing in there?" Patricia asked. "I was just spending time with the boys," Keisha said quietly. "You were hired to clean this house," Patricia said, "not to play with Mr. Wilson's children." "I know," Keisha said. "I am sorry. I just saw them and they looked so sad. And I know sign language and I thought I could help." "You know sign language?" Patricia asked. "How?" "I was a teacher," Keisha said, "in Atlanta. I taught deaf children for 12 years. Patricia stared at Keisha. "You are a teacher?" "Was a teacher," Keisha said. "My school closed. I needed work. That is why I took this job." Patricia shook her head. "Mr. Wilson hired you to clean. If you want to work here, you need to do your job. Do not spend time with the boys. Do not play games with them. Just clean. Do you understand?" Keisha felt tears in her eyes, but she did not let them fall. "Yes, I understand." "Good," Patricia said. She handed Keisha the folder. "Give these to Mr. Wilson when he comes home. I have to go." Patricia left through the front door. Keisha stood alone in the kitchen. Her whole body was shaking. She was afraid she would get fired. She needed this job. She needed the money. But then she thought about Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel. She thought about Daniel standing tall again. She thought about Joshua drawing a yellow sun. She thought about Samuel learning to breathe through his fear. Those boys needed her. For the first time in months, Keisha felt like herself. She felt like a teacher again. She felt like her life had purpose. She made a decision. She would keep spending time with the boys. She would be more careful. She would make sure Patricia did not see her. But she would not abandon Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel. She could not. Keisha walked back to the playroom. The three boys were sitting on the floor. They looked sad again. They thought Keisha was in trouble. They thought she would leave like everyone else. Keisha knelt down in front of them. She signed, "I am not leaving, I promise." Samuel looked at her. He signed for the first time without anyone asking him a question. He signed, "Promise?" Keisha took his hand. She signed with her other hand, "I promise. I will come back tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that." Samuel nodded. For the first time since his mother died, Samuel smiled. Keisha kept her promise. She came back the next morning, and the morning after that. Every single day. She was more careful now. She watched for Patricia's car. She listened for the front door. She made sure all her cleaning was done perfectly. She did not want to give anyone a reason to fire her, but every day she spent time with the boys. She could not stop. They needed her too much. 3 weeks passed since Patricia caught her in the playroom. It was now the middle of October. The weather in Los Angeles was still warm. The sun shone every day. On Thursday morning, Keisha arrived at the mansion at 8 o'clock. She cleaned the entrance hall, she dusted the living room, she mopped the kitchen floor. By 10:30, everything was clean. She walked to the playroom. The boys were waiting. All three of them signed hello together. Their hands moved at the same time. Keisha smiled. She signed, "Good morning. What should we do today?" Daniel signed, "I want to show you something." He stood up and walked to a closet. He opened it and pulled out a box. Inside the box were toy soldiers, and toy horses, and toy castles. Daniel dumped everything on the floor. "We can build a kingdom," Daniel signed. "We used to do this with our mother." Keisha's heart hurt, but she signed, "Let us build it." Daniel organized everything. He told Joshua to build the castle. He told Samuel to line up the soldiers. He told Keisha to set up the horses. Daniel was in charge. He was the leader. This was who he really was. They played for an hour. Daniel made up a story about a kingdom that needed to be saved from a dragon. Joshua made the dragon out of blocks. Samuel moved the soldiers to fight the dragon. Keisha moved the horses to help. At the end of the story, the kingdom was saved. Daniel signed, "We won. We worked together, and we won." Joshua clapped his hands. Samuel nodded. Keisha signed, "You are a good leader, Daniel." Daniel looked at her. His brown eyes were serious. He signed, "My mother said that too. She said I was born to lead." "She was right," Keisha signed. After the game, Joshua went to the art table. He had been going there more often now. Yesterday, he drew another sun. Today, he picked up a blue crayon. He drew the sky. Then he picked up a green crayon. He drew grass. Then he picked up a red crayon. He drew a flower. Keisha watched from across the room. She did not say anything. She let Joshua work. When he finished, Joshua looked at his drawing. He did not cry. He did not look sad. He looked at the colors, and they did not hurt him anymore. He brought the drawing to Keisha. He signed, "This is for you." Keisha took the drawing. Her eyes got wet. She signed, "This is beautiful. Thank you. Can I keep it?" Joshua nodded. He smiled, with his dimples showing. Keisha folded the drawing carefully. She put it in her pocket. She would take it home and put it on her refrigerator. Samuel sat on the floor playing with a toy car. He rolled it back and forth, back and forth. He looked calm. But then they heard a loud sound outside. A motorcycle drove past the house. The engine was very loud. The whole house vibrated. Samuel dropped the toy car. His eyes went wide. His breathing got fast. His whole body started shaking. He could not hear the motorcycle, but he felt it. The vibration scared him. It reminded him of the car accident. It reminded him of losing his mother. Keisha went to Samuel immediately. She sat next to him. She took his hands. She signed, "Look at me. Breathe." Samuel's eyes were full of fear. He could not focus on her. His breathing was too fast. Keisha kept signing. "Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in." Samuel tried, but he could not. His chest moved up and down too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, Keisha signed. She did this 10 times. She breathed slowly. She counted on her fingers. She did not let go of Samuel's hands. Slowly, very slowly, Samuel's breathing started to match hers. After 5 minutes, he was breathing normally. After 10 minutes, his hands stopped shaking. "Good job," Keisha signed. "You did it. You calmed yourself down." Samuel looked exhausted. He leaned against Keisha. She put her arm around him. Daniel and Joshua came over. They sat next to Samuel. Daniel signed, "Are you okay?" Samuel nodded. "You are brave," Daniel signed. "Panic is scary, but you fought it." Samuel looked at his brother. Then he signed something he had never signed before. "I am tired of being scared all the time." "I know," Keisha signed. "But every time you practice breathing, you get stronger. Every time you calm yourself down, you win. You are fighting your fear. That is very brave." Samuel did not sign anything back, but he stayed close to Keisha for the rest of the afternoon. That evening, Marcus left his office in Century City at 7 o'clock. He drove home through traffic. He was thinking about work, a big meeting tomorrow, a problem with one of the hospital contracts, numbers and deadlines and stress. He arrived home at 7:45. He walked through the front door. Mrs. Chen was in the kitchen cooking dinner. The smell of food filled the house. Chicken and vegetables. "Good evening, Mr. Wilson," Mrs. Chen said. "Good evening," Marcus said. "Where are the boys?" "In the dining room, Mrs." Chen said, "Dinner is almost ready." Marcus walked to the dining room. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel were sitting at the table. Marcus sat down at the other end. Mrs. Chen brought plates of food: chicken, broccoli, and rice. The boys started eating. Marcus watched them. He saw Daniel sitting up very straight. His shoulders were back. His head was held high. He looked confident. He looked strong. Marcus had not seen Daniel look like this in 2 years. He saw Joshua eating while looking at a drawing next to his plate, a drawing of a sun and sky and grass and a flower. Joshua had drawn something. Marcus's chest felt tight. Joshua stopped drawing after Rebecca died. He put all his art supplies away. But now he was drawing again. He saw Samuel eating calmly, not looking around nervously, not checking the doors and windows. Samuel looked peaceful. Samuel had not looked peaceful in 2 years. Something was happening. Something was changing his sons. Marcus did not know what, but he was grateful for it. After dinner, Marcus went to his home office. He tried to work on his laptop, but he could not focus. He kept thinking about his sons, about the changes he was seeing, about the smiles that appeared sometimes, about the way they seemed less broken. He wanted to talk to them. He wanted to ask them what was happening, but he could not. He did not speak their language. He was their father, but he could not communicate with them. Marcus opened his laptop. He searched for sign language classes, Los Angeles. The same results appeared: community colleges, private tutors, online courses. His phone rang. It was his business partner calling about tomorrow's meeting. Marcus answered. He talked about work for 30 minutes. When he hung up, he had forgotten about the sign language search. He closed his laptop without signing up for any classes. Marcus went upstairs. He checked on his sons. Daniel was reading a book in bed. Joshua was drawing another picture. Samuel was lying down with his eyes closed. All three boys looked okay. Not happy, but okay. That was more than Marcus had seen in 2 years. Marcus went to his bedroom. He got ready for sleep. He lay in bed in the dark. He thought about Rebecca. He whispered to the empty room. Something is helping them. I do not know what, but they are getting better. I wish you were here to see it. The next day was Friday. Marcus had his big meeting in the morning. It went well. The hospital contract was saved. His business partner was happy. Marcus should have been happy too, but he felt empty. Work used to fill him up. Now it felt meaningless. At 2:30 in the afternoon, Marcus got a terrible headache. The pain was behind his eyes, sharp and constant. He could not focus on his computer screen. He tried to read emails, but the words blurred together. His assistant knocked on his door. "Mr. Wilson, are you okay? You look pale." "I have a headache," Marcus said. "A bad one." "Maybe you should go home early," she said. "Rest for the weekend." Marcus thought about it. He never left work early. Never. But his head hurt so much, and there was nothing urgent to do. The big meeting was over. "Okay," Marcus said. "I will go home." He packed his laptop in his bag. He took the elevator down to the parking garage. He got in his black Mercedes. He drove out of Century City toward Beverly Hills. The drive took 25 minutes. He pulled up to the gate of his mansion at 3 o'clock. The security guard waved him through. Marcus parked in the driveway. He walked to the front door. He put his key in the lock. He opened the door and stepped inside. Then he heard something that made him stop breathing. Laughter. Children laughing. Real laughter. Pure joy. A sound he had not heard in his house for 2 years. Marcus stood frozen in the entrance hall. His heart pounded in his chest. He dropped his bag on the floor. Where was that sound coming from? He walked slowly down the hallway. The laughter got louder. It was coming from the playroom. Marcus walked slowly. His headache was forgotten. The laughter filled the hallway. It filled his ears. It filled his heart. He had not heard his sons laugh in 2 years, not since Rebecca died. He reached the playroom door. It was open. He stood there and looked inside. What he saw made him stop breathing. A woman was in the middle of the room. She was dancing. Her arms moved up and down. Her feet moved side to side. But her hands were also moving. She was signing while she danced. Her face was expressive. Her whole body told a story. Daniel was dancing with her. He was jumping up and down. His face was bright with joy. He was laughing so hard his mouth was wide open. Joshua was spinning in circles. His arms were out. He was laughing too. Real laughter. His dimples showed. His eyes were full of light. Samuel was clapping his hands to a rhythm Marcus could not hear. Samuel was smiling. Actually smiling. He was not scared. He was not frozen. He was happy. All three of his sons were happy. All three of them were laughing and moving and alive. Marcus had not seen them like this since before the accident. Since before they lost their mother. Marcus felt something wet on his face. He touched his cheek. Tears. He was crying. He could not stop. His whole body shook. He put his hand over his mouth to keep from making noise. He did not want to interrupt. He did not want this moment to end. He watched for 10 minutes. The woman kept signing and dancing. She was telling them a story. Marcus did not understand sign language, but he could tell the story was funny. The boys kept laughing. They kept dancing with her. Marcus's chest felt like it was breaking open. Pain and joy at the same time. His sons were alive again. Someone had brought them back from the dark place where he could not reach them. Then the woman turned around. She saw Marcus standing in the doorway. Her face changed immediately. All the color left her skin. Her eyes went wide. She stopped dancing. Her hands stopped moving. The boys saw her stop. They turned to look. They saw their father. The laughter died. The room went silent. All three boys looked scared. The woman walked toward Marcus. Her whole body was shaking. Her hands trembled at her sides. She stopped a few feet away from him. "Mr. Wilson," she said. Her voice shook. "I am so sorry. I know I should have been cleaning. I know this is not my job. I will leave right now if you want me to. I am so sorry." She kept saying sorry over and over. She looked terrified. Marcus realized she thought she was in trouble. She thought he was angry. But Marcus was not angry. He was crying. Tears ran down his face. He could not speak. His throat was too tight. "How do you know sign language?" Marcus finally asked. His voice broke. "How do you know how to talk to my sons?" The woman's hands shook harder. She looked at the floor. "My name is Keisha. Keisha Thompson. I was a special education teacher in Atlanta, Georgia. I taught at Washington Elementary School for 12 years. I taught deaf children." Marcus stared at her. "You are a teacher?" "I was a teacher," Keisha said. Tears started falling from her eyes. "My school lost funding. It closed down. I could not find another teaching job. I needed money to pay rent. I moved to Los Angeles. I took this cleaning job because I needed work." "Why did you not tell anyone you were a teacher?" Marcus asked. "I was ashamed," Keisha said. "I was afraid people would judge me. A teacher cleaning houses. I thought people would think I failed." Marcus looked past Keisha at his three sons. They were standing together. They were holding hands. All three of them looked terrified. They thought Keisha was leaving. They thought their father was sending her away. Marcus looked back at Keisha. More tears fell from his eyes. He did not wipe them away. "You brought them back," Marcus said. His voice was barely a whisper. "You brought my sons back to life. I have tried everything for 2 years. Therapists, nannies, doctors. Nothing worked. But you did this. You gave them something I could not give them." Keisha was crying now, too. "I just talked to them. In their language. That is all I did." "That is everything," Marcus said. "That is what they needed. Someone to see them. Someone to speak their language." Marcus walked past Keisha into the playroom. He walked to his sons. He knelt down in front of them. He looked at Daniel, then Joshua, then Samuel. They all looked scared. They did not understand what was happening. Marcus wished he could sign to them. He wished he could tell them he was not angry. He wished he could tell them he was grateful. But he could not. He did not speak their language. He turned back to Keisha. "Can you translate for me? Can you tell them what I say?" "Yes," Keisha said. She wiped her eyes. She walked over and knelt down next to Marcus. "Tell them I am not angry," Marcus said. "Tell them I am happy. Tell them I have not seen them laugh in 2 years. Tell them it was the most beautiful sound I have ever heard." Keisha's hands moved. She signed Marcus's words. The boys watched her hands. Then they looked at their father. The fear in their eyes got smaller. "Tell them I am sorry," Marcus said. His voice broke again. "Tell them I should have learned their language a long time ago. Tell them I failed them," Keisha signed. Daniel's eyes got wet. Joshua put his hand over his mouth. Samuel looked at the floor. "Tell them things are going to change," Marcus said. "Tell them I am going to do better." Keisha signed. The boys nodded slowly. Marcus stood up. He looked at Keisha. "Can we talk? In the kitchen?" "Yes," Keisha said. She signed something to the boys. Then she followed Marcus to the kitchen. Marcus closed the kitchen door. He turned to face Keisha. She looked terrified again. She thought he was going to fire her. "I do not want you to clean my house anymore," Marcus said. Keisha's face fell. Fresh tears filled her eyes. "I understand. I am sorry. I know I was not doing my job right." "No," Marcus said. "You do not understand. I do not want you to clean because I want you to do something else. I want you to be my son's teacher, full-time. I want you to work with them every day. Teach them. Talk to them. Help them. Whatever they need." Keisha stared at Marcus. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. "I will pay you 3 times what you made as a teacher in Atlanta," Marcus said. "You will have full benefits, health insurance, paid vacation, whatever you need. Just please say yes. Please help my sons." "You want me to be their teacher?" Keisha whispered. "Yes," Marcus said. "They need you. You brought them back from a dark place. You made them laugh again. You gave them hope. I cannot do that. I do not speak their language, but you do." "Yes," Keisha said. The word came out as a sob. "Yes, I will do it. Yes." Marcus felt relief flood through his body. He put his hand over his face. He cried again. But these were different tears. Not tears of pain. Tears of hope. "Thank you," Marcus said. "Thank you for saving my sons." "They saved me too," Keisha said. "I lost my purpose when I lost my teaching job. Your sons gave it back to me." They stood in the kitchen crying together. 2 broken people who found hope in 3 small boys. Marcus wiped his eyes. "When can you start?" "As their teacher, I mean." "I already started," Keisha said. She smiled through her tears. "Then keep doing what you are doing," Marcus said. "Whatever they need, whatever makes them happy. Money is not a problem. Just help them." "I will," Keisha said. Marcus took a deep breath. "There is something else I need to do. Something I should have done 2 years ago." "What?" Keisha asked. "I need to learn sign language," Marcus said. "I need to talk to my sons, really talk to them. Can you help me find a teacher?" Keisha smiled. A real smile. "Yes, I know someone. Her name is Helen Rodriguez. She is the best sign language teacher in Los Angeles. I can call her today." "Please," Marcus said. "Tell her to come as soon as possible. Tell her I will pay whatever she asks. I need to learn how to talk to my sons." Keisha called Helen Rodriguez that same evening. Helen agreed to come to the mansion on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. That gave Marcus 3 days to prepare himself. On Tuesday, Marcus left work at 5:15. He drove home faster than usual. He was nervous. His hands were sweaty on the steering wheel. He was 42 years old, and he was about to become a student again. Helen Rodriguez arrived exactly at 6 o'clock. Keisha opened the door. Helen was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and kind eyes. She carried a bag full of books and materials. "Thank you for coming," Keisha said. "Mr. Wilson is in the living room." Marcus stood when Helen entered. He shook her hand. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." "Keisha told me about your sons," Helen said. "I am happy to help." They sat down at the dining room table. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel watched from the doorway. They were curious. Their father was going to learn their language. They did not believe it would really happen. Helen pulled out a book. "We will start with the basics. The alphabet. Simple words. Basic phrases. It will be hard at first. Your hands will feel clumsy. You will make mistakes. But if you practice every day, you will improve." "I will practice," Marcus said, "whatever it takes." Helen started teaching. She showed Marcus how to sign the letter A, then B, then C. Marcus tried to copy her. His hands felt wrong. His fingers did not bend the right way. He got frustrated quickly. "Slower," Helen said. "Do not rush. Take your time." Marcus tried again and again. After 30 minutes, he could sign the whole alphabet. It was messy and slow, but he could do it. "Good," Helen said. "Now let us learn some basic words. Mother, father, son, brother, love." Marcus practiced each word. His movements were stiff and awkward, but he did not stop trying. Daniel walked into the room. He watched his father struggle with the sign for love. Marcus's hand position was wrong. Daniel walked over. He took his father's hand and moved it to the correct position. Marcus looked at his son. Daniel looked back. For the first time in 2 years, they communicated directly. No one translating, just father and son. Marcus's eyes got wet. He signed to Daniel. "Thank you." Daniel nodded. Then he went back to his brothers. The lesson lasted 1 hour. By the end, Marcus's hands hurt. His head hurt. He had learned 20 basic signs. It was not much, but it was a start. "Same time Thursday?" Helen asked as she packed her bag. "Yes," Marcus said. "And can we add one more day, Saturdays?" Helen smiled. "Yes, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That is good. You will learn faster with 3 lessons a week." After Helen left, Marcus practiced the signs over and over. He sat at the dining room table with a piece of paper. Helen had drawn pictures of each sign. Marcus practiced until his hands were tired. Keisha walked into the dining room. "You did well today." "I was terrible," Marcus said. "My hands do not work right." "You will get better," Keisha said. "Learning a new language is always hard at first. But you are trying. That is what matters." 3 months passed. The mansion in Beverly Hills felt completely different now. The silence was gone. The sadness was lighter. Life was returning to the house. Marcus kept taking lessons with Helen. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6 o'clock. He never missed a single lesson. He practiced every morning and every night. His hands slowly started to understand the movements. The signs became smoother. The words came faster. After 2 months, Marcus could have basic conversations. After 3 months, he could talk about his day, ask questions, tell simple stories. Marcus also changed his work schedule. He used to work until 7 or 8 at night. Now he left the office at 5 o'clock every single day. He wanted to be home for dinner with his sons. Every evening at 6:30, the family ate dinner together. Marcus, Keisha, Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel. They sat around the dining room table. Mrs. Chen cooked the food and then went home. The 5 of them ate and talked. Marcus signed to Daniel. "What did you do today?" Daniel signed back. "We played a game about explorers. I was the captain. Joshua drew a map. Samuel found the treasure." Marcus smiled. "That sounds fun." He signed to Joshua. "Can I see the map?" Joshua ran to get his drawing. He brought it back and showed his father. It was a drawing of an island with trees and water and an X marking the treasure. The drawing had bright colors, yellow and blue and green and red. "This is beautiful," Marcus signed. "You are a great artist." Joshua's face lit up. His dimples showed. He signed, "Thank you." Marcus signed to Samuel. "Did you find the treasure?" Samuel nodded. He signed, "It was hard. Daniel hid it very well. But I looked everywhere and I found it." "You are very smart," Marcus signed. Samuel smiled. He was smiling more now. The fear in his eyes was smaller. He still got scared sometimes, but he was learning to be brave. After dinner every night, Marcus read to his sons. He sat in the playroom with a book. He signed the words. His signing was not perfect. He made mistakes, but the boys did not mind. They helped him when he got stuck. They corrected his hand positions. They laughed gently when he signed the wrong word. For the first time in 2 years, Marcus felt close to his sons. He was not a stranger in his own house anymore. He was their father. Really their father. After the boys went to bed at 8:30, Marcus and Keisha sat together in the living room. They drank tea. They talked. At first, they talked about the boys, about Daniel's progress, about Joshua's drawings, about Samuel's breathing exercises. But slowly, they started talking about other things, about life, about loss, about who they were before grief changed them. One evening, Keisha told Marcus about her childhood. "I grew up in Atlanta. My parents died when I was 7 years old. There was a fire in our house. I was at my grandmother's house that night. My parents were home. They did not get out." "I am sorry," Marcus said. "That must have been terrible." "My grandmother raised me," Keisha said. "She was a nurse. She worked at Grady Memorial Hospital. She taught me that life is about serving others, about helping people who need help. That is why I became a teacher." "Your grandmother sounds like a good woman," Marcus said. "She died 5 years ago," Keisha said. "Cancer. I miss her every day." Marcus told Keisha about his life too. "I grew up in Detroit. My family was poor. My father worked in a car factory. My mother cleaned houses. We did not have much money, but my parents worked hard. They wanted me to have a better life." "Is that why you built your company?" Keisha asked. "Yes," Marcus said. "I wanted to prove that a poor kid from Detroit could be successful. I wanted to make my parents proud. But somewhere along the way, I forgot what really matters. I worked all the time. I missed my son's childhood. I never learned to talk to them. I thought I had time. Then Rebecca died, and I realized I wasted everything." "You did not waste everything," Keisha said. "You are learning now. You are trying now. Your sons see that." "I should have learned 2 years ago," Marcus said. "Rebecca told me to learn. She begged me. But I was always too busy, always had another meeting, always had another deadline. Now she is gone, and I cannot tell her I am sorry." Keisha reached over and took Marcus's hand. "She knows. Wherever she is, she knows. And she would be proud of you now." These conversations happened every night. Marcus told Keisha about his guilt, his regrets, his fears. Keisha told Marcus about her dreams, about wanting to open a school for deaf children someday, about wanting to help families like his, about wanting her life to mean something. Marcus listened, really listened. He did not try to fix her pain. He just sat with her in it. They were two people who understood loss, who understood what it felt like to have your life fall apart, who understood the work of putting yourself back together. One Friday evening in January, Marcus suggested they take the boys somewhere. "We should do something as a family. Go somewhere fun. We have not left the house together since Rebecca died." "Where should we go?" Keisha asked. "Santa Monica Pier," Marcus said. The boys used to love going there before the accident. On Saturday morning, they all got in Marcus's car. Marcus drove. Keisha sat in the front passenger seat. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel sat in the back. It took 40 minutes to get to Santa Monica. The pier was crowded. Families everywhere. Children running. People eating ice cream. The smell of cotton candy and popcorn filled the air. Samuel looked nervous. Too many people. Too much noise. But Marcus took his hand. He signed, "I am here. You are safe." Samuel nodded. He held his father's hand tight. They rode the Ferris wheel, all 5 of them squeezed into one car. They went up high and looked out at the ocean. The water was blue and endless. Joshua pointed at birds flying. Daniel pointed at boats. Samuel forgot to be scared. He looked at everything with wonder. They played games. Marcus tried to throw a ball into a basket. He missed every time. The boys laughed. Keisha tried to knock down bottles. She knocked down 2. Daniel tried a ring toss game. He won a small stuffed bear. He gave it to Samuel. They ate cotton candy, pink and sticky and sweet. The boys got it all over their faces. Marcus took pictures on his phone. Everyone was smiling in every picture. On the drive home, the boys fell asleep in the back seat. Marcus drove carefully. Keisha looked out the window. Then she looked at Marcus. Marcus felt her looking. He glanced over at her. Their eyes met for just a second. Something passed between them, something warm and real and terrifying. Marcus looked back at the road. His heart was beating fast. He realized something that scared him. He was falling in love with Keisha. He did not plan it. He did not want it. But it was happening anyway. Keisha looked back out the window. Her heart was beating fast, too. She realized the same thing. She was falling in love with Marcus, with his trying, with his humility, with his love for his sons. She was falling, and she could not stop. Neither of them said anything. They drove home in silence. But everything had changed. 3 more months passed. It was now April. 6 months since Marcus discovered Keisha dancing with his sons. 6 months since everything changed. The mansion in Beverly Hills was full of life now. The boys laughed every day. They played games. They talked during meals. They were not the same broken children from a year ago. They were healing. Marcus was fluent in sign language now. He could have real conversations with his sons. He could tell them jokes. He could ask about their feelings. He could say he loved them, and they understood. But Marcus was hiding something. He was hiding his feelings for Keisha. Every night they sat together and talked. Every morning he saw her smile at his sons. Every day he fell more in love with her. But he never said anything. Marcus was afraid. He was afraid if he told Keisha the truth, she would leave. She came to help his sons, not to be with him. He did not want to make things complicated. He did not want to lose her. His sons needed her too much. Keisha was hiding the same thing. She was in love with Marcus. She loved the way he tried so hard to learn sign language. She loved the way he came home every day at 5 o'clock. She loved the way he listened to his sons. She loved the way he changed from a man who ran from pain to a man who faced it. But Keisha was afraid, too. She was afraid Marcus only saw her as an employee, as someone who helped his sons. She was afraid if she told him the truth, everything would become awkward. She would have to leave. She could not leave the boys. They were her whole life now, so both of them stayed silent. They sat together every night. They talked about everything except what they really felt. They hid their hearts and pretended everything was normal. On a Saturday morning in the middle of April, Marcus woke up at 7 o'clock. He lay in his bed, looking at the ceiling. He could not do this anymore. He could not hide what he felt. It was killing him. He made a decision. He would tell Keisha today. If she did not feel the same way, he would accept it. But he had to know. He had to be honest. Life was too short for hiding. Marcus got out of bed. He took a shower. He got dressed. He went downstairs. The boys were eating breakfast. Keisha was with them. She was signing something that made Joshua laugh. Marcus watched her for a moment. His heart hurt. He loved her so much. "Good morning," Marcus signed to his sons. All 3 boys signed good morning back. Marcus looked at Keisha. "Can we talk after breakfast?" "Of course," Keisha said. She looked confused. "Is something wrong?" "No," Marcus said. "I just need to talk to you. Alone." Keisha nodded. She looked nervous. After breakfast, Marcus signed to his sons. "Keisha and I are going out for a little while. Mrs. Chen will be here. We will be back in a few hours." "Where are you going?" Daniel signed. "Just for a drive," Marcus signed. to talk about grown-up things. Daniel looked at Joshua. Joshua looked at Samuel. They all smiled a little, like they knew something Marcus did not know they knew. Marcus and Keisha got in his car. Marcus drove toward the ocean. Keisha sat in the passenger seat. She did not ask where they were going. She just looked out the window. After 40 minutes, they arrived at Santa Monica Beach. The same beach they came to with the boys 3 months ago. Marcus parked the car. They got out and walked toward the water. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. The sky was blue. Waves crashed on the sand. People walked along the beach. Families and couples and dogs. Marcus and Keisha walked side by side. They did not talk. They just walked. After 10 minutes, Marcus stopped. He turned to face Keisha. "I need to tell you something," Marcus said. His voice shook, "and I am scared to say it, but I cannot keep it inside anymore." Keisha's eyes went wide. "What is it?" Marcus took a deep breath. "You changed my life. You brought my sons back from darkness. You gave them hope. You gave them joy. You gave them someone who understands them." "Marcus," Keisha started to say. "Please let me finish," Marcus said. "I am not good at this, but I need to say it." Keisha nodded. Her hands were shaking. "You did not just save my sons," Marcus said. "You saved me too. I was dead inside. I was drowning in guilt and grief. I could not connect with anyone. I worked all the time because I was running from pain. But you showed me how to stop running. You showed me how to be present, how to be a real father, how to be a real person." Tears started falling from Keisha's eyes. "I know you came to help my sons," Marcus said. "I know that is your job. I know I should not complicate things, but I cannot lie anymore. I love you, Keisha. I am in love with you. I did not plan it. I did not want it. But it happened, and I needed you to know." Keisha put her hands over her face. She was crying hard now. Marcus's heart sank. He thought she was upset. He thought he made a terrible mistake. "I am sorry," Marcus said. "I should not have said anything. Please do not leave. The boys need you. I will never mention it again. We can just forget this happened." Keisha took her hands away from her face. She was smiling through her tears. "Marcus, stop talking." Marcus stopped. "I am not upset," Keisha said. "I am crying because I am happy. I love you too. I have loved you for months. I was so scared to tell you. I thought you only saw me as the woman who helps your sons. I thought if I told you how I felt, you would fire me. I would lose the boys. I would lose you. I could not risk that." Marcus stared at her. "You love me?" "Yes," Keisha said. She was crying and laughing at the same time. "I love you. I love the way you try so hard. I love the way you show up for your sons every single day. I love the way you learned their language even though it was hard. I love the way you listen. I love the way you changed. I love you, Marcus." Marcus felt tears on his own face now. He stepped closer to Keisha. "I cannot believe this is real." "It is real," Keisha said. Marcus took Keisha's hands in his. They stood on the beach, holding hands. The ocean crashed behind them. The sun shone down on them. "Marry me," Marcus said. Keisha's eyes went wide. "What?" "Marry me," Marcus said again. "I do not have a ring. I did not plan this. But I know this is right. I do not want to waste any more time. Life is too short. Rebecca taught me that. I love you, and I want to spend my life with you. Marry me, Keisha." Keisha was crying so hard she could barely see. "Yes, yes, I will marry you." Marcus pulled Keisha into his arms. He held her tight. They stood there for a long time just holding each other. Two broken people who found each other. Two people who learned that love can come after loss. that joy can come after grief, that healing is possible. They drove back to the mansion, holding hands. Marcus parked the car. They walked inside together. The boys were in the playroom. Mrs. Chen was in the kitchen. "Boys," Marcus signed, "come here. We need to talk to you." Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel came to the living room. They sat on the couch. Marcus and Keisha sat across from them. "We have news," Marcus signed. "Good news." The boys waited. "Keisha and I are getting married," Marcus signed. Daniel's mouth opened. Then he smiled. A huge smile. He signed, "Really?" "Really," Marcus signed. Joshua started clapping. He was smiling so big his dimples showed. Samuel looked at Keisha. He signed something to her. "Will you leave us?" Keisha's heart broke. She signed back, "Never. I will never leave you, I promise. That is what getting married means. I will be here forever. I will be part of your family forever." "Will you be our new mother?" Daniel signed. His hands moved slowly, carefully, like he was afraid of the answer. Keisha signed, "I will never replace your mother. Never. Your mother was Rebecca. She loved you so much. She will always be your mother. But I will love you too. I will take care of you. I will be here for you. If you want to call me Mom, you can. But you do not have to. Whatever feels right to you." Joshua signed, "Can we call you Mom?" "Yes," Keisha signed. Tears fell from her eyes again. "Yes, you can call me Mom." Samuel got up from the couch. He walked to Keisha. He hugged her. It was the first time he hugged anyone besides his brothers in 2 years. Keisha held him tight. Daniel and Joshua came over. They hugged Keisha too. Marcus watched his sons hug the woman he loved. He felt complete for the first time in 3 years. That night they celebrated. Marcus ordered pizza from the boys' favorite restaurant. They ate in the dining room. They laughed and talked and signed. They watched a movie together. They were happy. After the boys went to bed, Marcus and Keisha sat in the living room. They held hands. They did not need to talk. They just sat together. Two people who found love in the middle of grief. Two people who learned that broken things can be made whole again. Not the same as before, but whole in a new way. Marcus thought about the phone call he got 2 years ago, the police officer telling him Rebecca was dead. He thought about the darkness that followed, the silence, the distance from his sons, the guilt that ate him alive. He thought about Keisha walking into his house 6 months ago, a teacher pretending to be a maid, a woman who saw his sons and could not walk away, a woman who gave them their voice back, who gave him his sons back, who gave him himself back. "What are you thinking about?" Keisha asked. "Everything," Marcus said. "How losing Rebecca broke me, how my sons brought me back, how you made all of this possible." "We made it possible together," Keisha said. Marcus kissed her hand. "I love you." "I love you too," Keisha said. They sat together in the quiet house, but it was not the terrible silence from before. It was peaceful silence, the kind that comes when broken people find their way home. 2 months passed. It was now June. The wedding was planned for Saturday, the 15th of June. Marcus and Keisha decided to keep it small, just close friends and family. They would get married in the garden of the Beverly Hills mansion. The garden was beautiful. Marcus hired people to make it perfect. They planted flowers everywhere, white roses and purple irises and yellow tulips. They set up white chairs in rows. They built an arch covered in more flowers. Everything looked like a dream. Keisha invited 3 friends from Atlanta, old friends from her teaching days. Marcus invited his business partner and Patricia. Helen Rodriguez was invited too. She was more than a sign language teacher now. She was a friend. The most important guests were Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel. They would be the ring bearers. All three boys were excited. They had matching gray suits. Marcus took them to a store in Beverly Hills to get fitted. The tailor measured them carefully. The boys stood very still. They looked so grown up. On Friday morning, the day before the wedding, Keisha was nervous. She walked through the house, checking everything. The flowers were delivered. The chairs were set up. The food was ordered. Everything was ready. But Keisha could not stop moving. She could not sit still. Marcus found her in the kitchen. She was organizing plates that did not need organizing. "Are you okay?" Marcus asked. "I am nervous," Keisha said. "What if something goes wrong? What if it rains? What if the flowers die? What if people do not have enough food?" Marcus took her hands. "Everything will be perfect. But even if something goes wrong, it does not matter. What matters is that we are getting married, that we are becoming a family. That is all that matters." Keisha took a deep breath. "You are right. I just want everything to be perfect." "It will be perfect because you will be there," Marcus said. Keisha smiled. She kissed Marcus. "I love you." "I love you too," Marcus said. That night, Keisha stayed at a hotel near the beach. It was tradition for the bride and groom to spend the night before the wedding apart. Keisha's three friends from Atlanta stayed with her. They talked and laughed late into the night. They did her hair and nails. They told her how happy they were for her. "I cannot believe you are getting married," her friend Monica said. "And to a billionaire? It is amazing." "It is not about the money," Keisha said. "Marcus could be poor and I would still love him. I love who he is. I love how he shows up for his sons. I love how he tries." "We know," her friend Denise said. "We are just happy you found love again. After everything you lost, your job, your grandmother, your life in Atlanta, you deserve this happiness." "I feel like everything I lost led me here," Keisha said. "Like it all had a purpose. I had to lose my teaching job to move to Los Angeles. I had to move to Los Angeles to meet Marcus and the boys. Maybe everything happens for a reason." Saturday morning came. The wedding was at noon. Keisha woke up at 7 o'clock. She took a shower. Her friends helped her get dressed. Her wedding dress was simple and white. It had no beads or lace. Just a simple dress that made her feel beautiful. At the mansion, Marcus woke up early too. He put on his black suit. He looked at himself in the mirror. He looked different than he did a year ago. His eyes were not empty anymore. His face was not tight with stress. He looked alive. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel got dressed in their gray suits. Mrs. Chen helped them with their ties. All three boys looked so handsome, so grown up. They were 8 years old, but they looked older in their suits. Marcus went to the boys' rooms. He signed, "You all look great." "Thank you," Daniel signed. "You look great too." "Are you nervous?" Joshua signed. "A little," Marcus signed, "but I am mostly happy. Very happy." "We are happy too," Samuel signed. "We love Keisha. She is good for you. She is good for all of us." Marcus felt his throat get tight. "Thank you. That means everything to me." At 11:30, the guests started arriving. Patricia came with her husband. Marcus's business partner came with his wife. Helen Rodriguez came alone. Keisha's three friends from Atlanta arrived from the hotel. Everyone sat in the white chairs in the garden. The weather was perfect, sunny and warm with a light breeze. At noon exactly, music started playing. It came from speakers hidden in the garden. The song was gentle and beautiful. Everyone stood up. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel walked down the aisle together. They each carried a small white pillow. On each pillow was a ring. They walked slowly and carefully. They reached the front and stood next to Marcus. All three boys were smiling. Then Keisha appeared at the end of the aisle. She walked alone. She had no father to walk her down the aisle. Her father died when she was 7 years old. But she did not need anyone. She was strong enough to walk by herself. Marcus watched Keisha walk toward him. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Not because of the dress or the flowers or the perfect day. Beautiful because she was his. Because she chose him. Because she loved his sons. Because she brought his family back to life. Keisha reached the front. She stood across from Marcus. They held hands. A minister stood between them. He was a man from a church near the mansion. He smiled at them. "We are here today to join Marcus Wilson and Keisha Thompson in marriage," the minister said. "Marcus has written his own vows. He will sign them so his sons can understand." Marcus let go of Keisha's hands. He started signing. His hands moved smoothly now. After a year of lessons, sign language felt natural to him. "Keisha, you saved my life. You saved my sons' lives. You came into our house when we were drowning in darkness. You brought light. You brought hope. You brought love. I promise to love you every day for the rest of my life. I promise to show up, to be present, to never hide from pain again. I promise to be the man you deserve, the father my sons deserve. I love you." Keisha was crying. Happy tears. She signed back to him. She wanted the boys to understand her too. "Marcus, you showed me that broken things can heal. You showed me that love can come after loss. You gave me a family again. You gave me purpose again. I promise to love you and your sons forever. I promise to be here through everything. Good days and hard days. I promise to never leave. I love you." The minister smiled. "Daniel, the rings, please." Daniel stepped forward. He held out his pillow. Marcus took the ring. It was a simple gold band. He put it on Keisha's finger. "Joshua, the rings, please," the minister said. Joshua stepped forward with his pillow. Keisha took the ring. Another simple gold band. She put it on Marcus's finger. "By the power given to me, I now pronounce you husband and wife," the minister said. "You may kiss." Marcus kissed Keisha. Everyone clapped. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel clapped the loudest. The boys were smiling so big. They had a complete family again. Not the same family as before, but a whole family. A healed family. After the ceremony, everyone ate lunch in the garden. There was music and food and laughter. The boys ran around playing with each other. Patricia told Keisha how happy she was for her. Helen Rodriguez hugged them both. In the evening, after all the guests left, the family sat together in the living room. Marcus, Keisha, Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel. They were all tired from the long day, but they were happy. "That was a good day," Daniel signed. "The best day," Joshua signed. Samuel signed to Keisha. "Can we call you Mom now? For real?" "Yes," Keisha signed. "I am your mom now, officially." Samuel smiled. He signed, "Okay, Mom." Keisha started crying again, but these were happy tears, the best tears. That night, after the boys went to bed, Marcus and Keisha sat in the living room. They were both exhausted, but they could not stop smiling. "We are married," Keisha said. "We are married," Marcus repeated. He could not believe it. A year ago he was alone and broken. His sons were silent and sad. His house felt like a prison. Now everything was different. Now everything was full of life. "There is something I want to talk to you about," Keisha said. "I have been thinking about it for a while, but I did not want to bring it up until after the wedding." "What is it?" Marcus asked. "I want to open a school," Keisha said. "A school for deaf children. I have been teaching Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel, and I love it. But there are so many other children who need help. Children whose parents do not know sign language. Children who feel alone. I want to help them. Marcus smiled. Tell me more. I want a place where deaf children can learn and feel understood, Keisha said, where they can be themselves, where their families can learn sign language too. So many families are like ours was. Disconnected, unable to communicate. I want to fix that. How much money do you need? Marcus asked. I do not know yet, Keisha said. I have not planned it all out. I did not know if you would think it was a good idea. It is a great idea, Marcus said. The best idea. And I want to help. I will fund the whole thing. We can find a building, hire teachers, create programs for parents. We can do this together. Keisha's eyes filled with tears again. Really? Really, Marcus said. And I know what we should name it. What? Keisha asked. Rebecca's School for Deaf Children, Marcus said. Keisha stared at Marcus. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She put her hand over her heart. Rebecca's School for Deaf Children? Keisha whispered. Yes, Marcus said. Rebecca spent her whole life helping deaf children. She would want this. She would want her name to help families who are struggling. Families like ours. Keisha started crying for the third time that day. That is perfect. That is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. Marcus pulled Keisha close. They sat together on the couch, holding each other. They were building something good from their pain. They were turning loss into purpose. The next day, Marcus and Keisha started planning the school. They sat at the dining room table with papers and laptops. They made lists. They drew plans. They dreamed together. How many students should we start with? Marcus asked. 30, Keisha said. Small enough to give each child attention. Big enough to build a real program. What about teachers? Marcus asked. We need 5 teachers, Keisha said. All of them must know sign language fluently. And I want to hire deaf teachers too. I want the students to see deaf adults who are successful, who have jobs and lives. That representation matters. Marcus wrote everything down. What else? A program for parents, Keisha said. Free sign language classes every week. We teach the children, but we also teach the families. That is how we stop the cycle of disconnection. That is how we help families talk to each other. Marcus smiled. You have thought about this a lot. For years, Keisha said. Since I started teaching in Atlanta, I always wanted to do more than just teach children. I wanted to help whole families. Over the next 3 months, Marcus and Keisha worked on the school. Marcus found a building in Pasadena. It used to be a community center. It had big rooms and lots of windows. It had a playground outside. It was perfect. Marcus hired contractors to renovate the building. They painted the walls bright colors, yellow and red and purple and blue. Just like Rebecca would have loved. They built classrooms with round tables instead of desks in rows. They built a library full of books. They built a playroom full of toys. Keisha designed the curriculum. She decided what the children would learn at each age. She created activities and games. She researched the best teaching methods. She worked 12 hours a day, but she loved every minute of it. Keisha hired 5 teachers. 3 of them were hearing. 2 of them were deaf. All of them had experience teaching deaf children. All of them loved what they did. Keisha interviewed each one carefully. She wanted people who saw deaf children as whole, not as broken, not as less than, as complete human beings who happened to be deaf. 9 months after the wedding, Rebecca's School for Deaf Children opened. It was a Monday morning in March. The weather was warm and sunny. 30 children arrived with their parents. The children were between 5 and 10 years old. All of them were deaf. All of them looked nervous. Keisha stood at the front door greeting everyone. She signed to each child. "Welcome. I am so happy you are here." One little girl signed back. "My name is Maya. I am 6 years old." "Hello, Maya," Keisha signed. "I think you will love it here." The parents looked relieved. Many of them did not know sign language. They could not talk to their own children. They felt the same guilt Marcus felt, the same disconnection, the same pain. Keisha signed to the parents through a translator. "We are going to help your children, but we are also going to help you. Every Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, we offer free sign language classes for parents. We want you to be able to talk to your children. We want you to be able to connect with them." One mother started crying. She said, "My daughter is 8 years old. I have never been able to have a real conversation with her. I want to know what she thinks, what she dreams about, what makes her happy." "You will," Keisha said. "We will help you. That is what we are here for." Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel came to the school that first day. They were 9 years old now. They walked through the hallways looking at everything. They saw children signing to each other. They saw teachers signing stories. They saw a place where deaf children were normal, where they belonged. "This is amazing," Daniel signed to Keisha. "I wish this existed when we needed it." "It exists now because of what we went through," Keisha signed back. "Our pain has purpose." The school was a success from the very first day. The children loved their teachers. They loved the bright colors. They loved the games and activities. They loved being around other deaf children. They did not feel alone anymore. The parents came to sign language classes every Thursday. Keisha taught the first class herself. 15 parents sat in a classroom learning the alphabet, learning basic words, learning how to say, "I love you" to their children. By the end of the first year, the school was serving 50 children. By the end of the second year, 100 children. Families came from all over Los Angeles. Some families drove an hour each way. They said it was worth it. They said Rebecca's school changed their lives. 3 years passed. It was now a Sunday afternoon in May. The weather was warm and perfect. Marcus, Keisha, Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel drove to Forest Lawn Cemetery in Hollywood Hills. They did this every few months. They visited Rebecca's grave. They brought flowers. They sat and remembered her. They made sure Rebecca's memory stayed alive. Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel were 11 years old now. They were tall and strong. They were happy children. They still had hard days sometimes. They still missed their mother. But they were not broken anymore. They were whole. They walked through the cemetery together. The 5 of them. A family. They reached Rebecca's grave. The headstone was simple. It said, "Rebecca Marie Wilson, beloved wife and mother." It had the dates of her birth and death, May 5th, 1985, to October 12th, 2021. Marcus knelt down and placed yellow roses on the grave. Yellow roses were Rebecca's favorite flowers. He signed to his sons. "Your mother would be so proud of you. Look at who you have become. Daniel, you are strong and kind. You lead with wisdom. Joshua, you create beauty everywhere. Your art brings joy. Samuel, you faced your fear and won. You are braver than you know." All 3 boys had tears in their eyes, but they were not sad tears. They were tears of memory, of love, of missing someone who could never come back. Keisha knelt down next to Marcus. She signed to the boys. "I never met your mother, but I know her through you. I see her in Daniel's kindness, in Joshua's creativity, in Samuel's heart. She lives on in all of you." She looked at the headstone. She signed even though Rebecca could not see. "Thank you for loving these boys. Thank you for teaching them their worth. Thank you for fighting for them. I promise to continue what you started. I promise to love them forever. I promise to help other families find what you gave to yours." They sat together for 30 minutes. They told stories about Rebecca. Marcus told the boys about the day he met their mother at a charity event, how she talked about helping deaf children with so much passion, how he fell in love with her that very night. Joshua told everyone about a time Rebecca took him to an art museum, how she stood with him in front of every painting, how she signed descriptions of the colors and shapes, how she made him feel like an artist even when he was only 5 years old. Samuel told everyone about a time he had a nightmare, how Rebecca held him until he fell back asleep, how she signed that she would always protect him, how he believed her until the day she died. They cried together. They laughed together. They remembered together. Then they stood up. It was time to go home. As they walked back to the car, Daniel signed something. "Mom is not gone, not really. She is in us. She is in the school. She is in everything we do." "You are right," Marcus signed. "Love does not die. It changes form, but it never dies." They drove home to the Beverly Hills mansion, the house that used to feel cold and empty, the house that used to be a prison of silence, the house that was now full of life and laughter and love. That evening they ate dinner together, the 5 of them around the dining room table. Mrs. Chen made spaghetti, everyone's favorite. They signed and talked and joked. They were a family, not perfect, but real. After dinner, Marcus and Keisha sat on the back porch. They looked out at the garden, the same garden where they got married 3 years ago, the same garden where flowers bloomed every spring. "Can you believe how much has changed?" Keisha asked. "No," Marcus said. "Sometimes I think about that day you walked into the playroom, that day you signed to the boys for the first time. Everything changed that day." "Everything changed the day you came home early," Keisha said. "The day you saw us dancing. You could have fired me. You could have been angry. But you were grateful instead. You changed, Marcus. You chose to change." "We all changed," Marcus said. "The boys changed. I changed. You changed. We helped each other heal." They sat in comfortable silence. The sun was setting. The sky turned orange and pink and purple. It was beautiful. "What matters most in life?" Keisha asked. "If you had to choose one thing." Marcus thought for a long time. Then he said, "Connection. Being able to talk to the people you love. Being present. Showing up. That is what matters. Not money. Not success. Not anything else. Just being there. Really, being there." Keisha took his hand. "You learned that the hard way." "Yes," Marcus said, "but I learned it. That is what matters." Inside the house, Daniel, Joshua, and Samuel played a board game in the playroom. They signed to each other. They laughed. They argued about the rules. They were normal brothers doing normal things. They were not defined by their deafness. They were not defined by their loss. They were just 3 boys living their lives. The Wilson-Thompson family was whole again, not the same as before Rebecca died, but whole in a new way, stronger because they broke, deeper because they suffered, more grateful because they knew what it felt like to lose everything. Marcus looked at Keisha. "I love you." "I love you too," Keisha said. They sat together watching the sunset. 2 people who found each other in the darkness. 2 people who chose hope when despair was easier. 2 people who built something beautiful from the broken pieces of their lives. Inside, Daniel signed to his brothers. "We are lucky." "Why?" Samuel signed. "Because we have people who speak our language," Daniel signed. "Because we are not alone anymore." Joshua and Samuel nodded. They understood. They knew how rare it was, how precious it was, to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to belong. And in that moment, in that house in Beverly Hills, 5 people sat in the peace that comes after the storm. The peace that comes when broken things heal, when silent voices find their sound, when lost children find their way home. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Don't waste time. Just click on the screen